What's happening, everybody? Mike here with Tri Delta. I hope you guys are having a spectacular summer. Ours has been pretty good. What I've got on tap for you today is a start to finish A2L installation. And as a matter of fact, this is the first A2L installation we've done this season. So while I head out to Lansing, stay tuned. Alright guys, so here's the situation I've got going today. We're going to be replacing this 33-year-old R22 old Goodman unit out. We're going to be changing that over to the R454B Rude unit, 2-ton. First thing I got to do is I got to recover the refrigerant. Okay, so while we pull this down, we're going to go inside and take a look at the indoor unit. See what we got to do with that evaporator coil. Trying to get this line set removed and replaced. It is a pretty good looking line set. It is a 3/4 3/8 for a 2-ton system. So what I'm thinking about doing is just using my Hilmore line set cleaner. And I think we're going to clean this line set out and reuse it. Alright, we're getting super close on the recovery. I'm going to let it run for another probably a good 10 minutes or so and shut her down. Okay, now that I've recovered the refrigerant, going to remove the evaporator coil. Probably going to remove this transition. We're going to set the evaporator coil right on top of the newer furnace. We're going to extend the line set down. Yep. Alright guys, so what I've got here is I've got the new evaporator coil sitting at 20 inches tall, and I am 19 to the bottom of the plenum. Since I got to be 20, I can either come up 1 inch and try to squeeze it in, but I've got an offset from front to back about 1 inch, maybe 1.125. I'll get a better measurement on it. So I'm going to come up 24 inches so that I have enough room for the transition. I'm going to have to probably cut from inside on this one. Yeah, let's get the first cut done and then we'll go from there. The lighting isn't real great in here, guys, so I apologize for the low light situation. Uh-oh. Did not want to really lose my tin snips inside the unit. Alright, so for the last mark, we're just going to get it underneath our last cut. Line it up to our measurement. Cut away. Okay, would you look at that? Pretty good fit. Now we just got to measure up. Got to call in my transition and my, what the hell do you call this thing? I'm drawing a blank right now, but my patch. The kit comes with various sizes, 7/8, 3/4, 5/8, 1/2 inch, and 3/8. We're going to be using 3/4, 3/8 today, and we're going to start with the 3/4. Nice little seal, we'll loosen it up. Connect to our throat. First I got to ream that out, so don't fall. Damn it. Treat your tools better, Mike. They'll last longer. It is humid in this basement, boy. I'm glad they're getting air conditioning. Alright guys, I'm gonna get ready to shoot this thing through. So we're gonna go ahead and load the pig. We're set at 300. Let's go. Alright, looks like my bag caught it. And it looks fairly clean, like no oil. That is a great sign. I'm going to shoot one more through the 3/4 and I'm going to shoot two through the 3/8. Our lines are dry, which I am extremely happy about. We're good to reuse this line set. Wow. That is great. I really like that. All right. Toby. It's a good thing that we're in the shade today, because we're sitting at somewhere near 87, which isn't a lot for you Southerners, but up here we don't see 87 all that much. Oh, terrible throw. All right. Another tool that I really like using is this Lennox 6-in-1. Over time it starts to get a little bit rusty, a little bit stiff, but this is an older version. The new version I don't really care for all that much, but this one's got a really nice grip. I mean, the color is irrelevant, but yeah, I like this over the Klein. Now the Klein has obviously usually like a 11-in-1, and I do have the Klein HVAC version, which has the 4-polar on it. But what I go to most of the time is that Lennox 6-in-1. So, but like I said, I'm not sure about the new style. I'm not a fan, so I'll probably, when these wear down, I'll probably flip over to the Klein. I might go with the 6-in-1 Klein if they still have one. And by the way, if you've made it this far into the video, I appreciate you guys watching. One thing that I do want to ask you guys, and if you guys want to comment below, do you guys prefer like first person shooting like what I'm doing right now, or do you guys prefer like a third person? Yeah, comment below. Okay guys, I got my nitrogen flowing. We are good to go. I've been heating it up. Can't believe it didn't record before. Missing a spot. I think right there. Yep. Get her heated up again. And yeah. Okay, so somebody might ask, I don't know, maybe nobody asks, but I got two MG44s here. This one's brand new, this one's about 2 years old. I did an independent test with the Fields Piece VC2G, and basically I hooked up our vacuum pump similar to this. I pulled a vacuum on our recovery tank, and the new one was measuring about 30 to 40 microns lower than what the older one was. And then on top of that, there was a fluctuation when I shut the vacuum pump down. There was a fluctuation as far as we were losing, we'll just call it, there was a rise in the microns on the older one, whereas there was a rise with this one, but it was about 10 microns. This one jumped up about 40. VP85, yeah, brand new, not brand new. I got a VP85, I've got 2 micron gauges, and they're giving me different readings. Alright, I've had it running for a couple of minutes now. We're down to 7:45 and counting. It is 12:09 p.m. on Wednesday, July the 9th. And I'm going to close the gas ballast and let's see where we go. Alright, we're at 500 microns. It is now 12:10 p.m. We are going to head down into the basement and finish up what I got to finish up there. Alright guys, quick little update on our progress so far. We mounted the sensing bulb. We did the PVC. Everything that you see here in blue is a connection that I made. We are reusing the trap. We are reusing the vent, even though it's not required, and even though I never put them in any of our installs. It's there, so we're going to use it. Tapped all the way down, and we're going into the condensate pump. So what I've got left to do is we're going to wrap the suction line. We are going to wire in the evaporator coil, and we're going to go check on our vacuum, release the refrigerant, run this puppy, and see how she goes. Okay, so it's approximately 1:05 p.m. We've been pulling for almost an hour. I'm down to 117 microns. I'm about to isolate everything and see if we hold. Okay guys, it's been 10 minutes and approximately 30 seconds. We have moved about 57 microns. It's a little more than what I would have liked to have seen. Do I think that I have a leak? Certainly not in any of the brazing that we did. I don't think that I've got moisture. Well, I know for a fact that I don't have moisture. Where could I be leaking? It could be leaking here, any one of these fittings. I don't think the micron gauge is leaking. I could be leaking at any one of, a number of fittings that I've got attached to these service ports. So what we're going to do is, here's something that I learned also. During the vacuum process, you want to move the ball valve back and forth, because I guess the way I understand it is micro bubbles can be trapped inside the ball valve. I did not do that in this case. So when I isolated the suction line appion, I could have had air bubbles trapped inside of the ball valve, which could account for some of the jump that we're seeing. I might not be sealed enough here. I might have micro bubbles in this ball valve. I'm not 100% sure. But what I do know is that we're going to call this one good, and I'm going to go ahead and release the refrigerant. And first I want to isolate this micron gauge. Now, something else that I learned real quick. As soon as I isolate this, you're going to see these numbers jump way up. And according to Fieldpiece, that is because there's not enough volume to record an accurate micron reading. So now that we've isolated, I can go ahead and release the refrigerant, and we'll get this thing started up. Alright, we are zeroed out, so let's get these connected. Okay, it's 75 degrees here in Lansing. For RA13 NY24 on a 75 degree day, we should have a 5 degree subcooling. 130 and 256 on the pressures. Although my tech rep told me to not necessarily disregard the pressures, but those pressures are for ideal situations, and very rarely do we see ideal situations, especially in homes that are 50, 60, 70 years old. So charged by subcooling, we're looking for 5. Alright guys, it's approximately 1:47. I've had this unit running for about 15 minutes. It looks like we might be about a degree, maybe about half a degree over on our subcooling. We are starting to fluctuate a little bit, which is a little odd. Alright guys, it's approximately 10 minutes later, and we're still bouncing between you know, 4.8 to 6.3. It looks like my temperature differential looks pretty good. It is 80 degrees in the house. Yeah, I'm happy with the delta on that one. Subcooling's up to 7.3. I gotta tell you, I'm a little reluctant to pull refrigerant out of this new system, this 454B, because herein lies the problem. If I pull too much out, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get it back in, and I would rather be a slight bit overcharged rather than being undercharged. So I'm gonna call this one, I think I'm gonna call this one good. So thanks for watching. I'll check you guys out on the next one. It is 1:58. Looks like I got enough time for lunch before heading to the next call. We'll see you. Thanks for watching.